There's a really simple way to tell if your website copy is doing its job or if it's costing you clients. And in today's video, I'm sharing 5 simple questions that you can ask yourself to do a self-audit and see if your website passes the test. Make sure you stick to the end for the easiest and most hands-off way to get expert eyes on your copy. We're going to start with what may be the most important one on this list, and that is the clarity test. Does your website pass the clarity test? Ask yourself this one simple question. Can a brand new visitor who knows nothing about you understand what I do and who I help in under 5 seconds? Yes, under 5 seconds. Now, this is one of those things that can be particularly tricky, which is why I led with it first, because you are so close to your business, you are so close to your content that you know the ins and outs of it. So you expect that somebody else may understand you as well, but that's not necessarily the case. So instead, you're gonna wanna zoom out and you're gonna wanna pretend that you are a complete stranger and you have no knowledge of that industry and you have no knowledge about the business to make sure that you are clear and concise and not using too much jargon. If you still feel too close to this, you can ask a friend as well for their opinion. But regardless, you're going to want to comb through the copy and make sure you can answer this one question. Now, some prime areas that you're going to want to focus on when you do this is above the fold. Above the fold is really prime real estate on your website. It is before you keep scrolling down. And you may think, okay, I have a cutesy headline, but if they keep reading and keep scrolling, then they'll understand and I can explain it much more clear. But the thing is, a lot of people won't get that far. So you have to make that first impression right front and center, especially above the fold. Your action step for this is to be painfully clear, use one sentence and no guessing. The next thing I scan for when I'm auditing my clients' websites is I do a skim test. Now, I hate to break this to you because I know that writing is very important. And obviously I talk about this a lot here on my channel, but the fact is that people are not reading every single thing that you wrote. So it's really, really crucial that we focus in on those headlines, on the bolded things, on anything that's large and stands out on your site. We really have to make sure that these pieces do the heavy lifting for anybody that's landing on your site and just scrolling through. Fact of the matter is, that's just human behavior these days. So these headlines are really, really crucial. Scroll through your site without reading every little thing and pay attention just to your headlines. Ask yourself questions like, am I highlighting the key benefits? Is this guiding the reader down the page? There's subtle ways that you can guide people with just skimming to keep on reading and keep scrolling down. Does this make them want to keep going? Does it make them want to reach out? If not, it may be time to rethink your headlines. Now let's talk about trust, because this one is so important and a very subtle thing and very nuanced, right? It's a little bit hard to get this one right. If somebody doesn't feel like they can trust you, then they're definitely not going to want to work with you. And there are subtle ways that we can plant trust cues in your website. You're going to want to make sure that there's enough social proof on your page and that it's placed strategically. So interweave your testimonials throughout, not just on one page, all info dumped together. Make sure that you have some logos if you've been featured any places and that those are front and center on the homepage. Maybe they'll be on your services page as well, right? Like there's subtle areas and little places where you can put the social proof. Client results, any kind of screenshots you have, especially on a sales page, these are so important and something that people can sometimes overlook, but you'd be surprised. Use strategically, these little pieces of social proof can actually clinch sales for you. Again, you don't want to info dump this all in like one section on your website. You're going to want to strategically sprinkle it throughout. Actually, I did a deep dive into this in the last video, so I will link that up here and down below in the description box. Now let's talk about desire, which is so important, because at the end of the day, we are moved to make decisions, and it is emotion that sparks our yes, let's do it, let's move forward, let's buy, let's work with this person. So you really got to comb through your site and see if you're eliciting that desire. I know this can sound really abstract, so I'm going to do my best to explain. Your website should not just explain who you are and what you do. It should make the person feel like, oh my God, this is the person I need to work with. I finally found them. They get me. This means your copy needs to be a lot more benefit driven, a lot more focused on your client, and a lot less focused on this is how amazing I am and this is what I've done for other people. So at every scroll point, every stopping point, you need to be able to answer the question, do they know what's in it for them? Like, what is in it for them if they end up working with you? Try to also be crystal clear, and this is the best way to communicate your messaging. So instead of say something like, I offer brand strategy and content creation, that's something I could say, and it's to the point. I could say something like, I hope you get crystal clear on your message and create content that actually connects, so your dream clients finally say yes. One of them is crystal clear, and that's fine. It's succinct, but the other one creates a much more vivid image in your brain. And when you paint a picture, people do tend to connect with it more. Now you can check and see if each section on your website highlights how your offer helps solve their problem, and make sure that your bullet points are packed with benefits and not just deliverables. You don't want all your bullet points to say, this includes slide decks and this and that. That's great, but what transformation are you experiencing from going through this course or this coaching or whatever? make sure that your bullet points are focused on that. The fact of the matter is, it doesn't matter how much pretty prose you have on your website. If your client or your potential client is not feeling that emotional connection, they may not feel working with you. You want your website and your website's copy to make that person feel like, oh my God, they are speaking directly to me. I have to work with them. This next one is a very important one, and it is often overlooked, and it's really paying attention to your CTAs or your calls to action. Now, something that I see very often is people have one call to action buried at the very bottom of the homepage, and that's it. How are people even supposed to contact you if they don't know how? You're not giving them the opportunity. You're not opening several doors. You just got one door buried all the way in the back of your site, and nobody's going to see it. The fact of the matter is people land on your website in many different ways. They're not necessarily going to go through the front door, which is your homepage, right? They might land there through a YouTube video. They might land there through a blog post. Then they have to go out of their way to search for a way to contact you. And at that point, that visitor is lost. You want to make sure to, one, make sure these are trickled through several places in your website and just not buried at the bottom of the homepage. Make sure that they are clear and make sure that they are repeated enough. So maybe on your blog sidebar, you have some kind of call to action. Maybe on your services page, on your about page, right? Like, I don't want you just to have one buried on the homepage and then say, oh, I have a call to action, but no one's reaching out. That's just not enough. You also want to make sure your call to action is specific. Yeah, you can put something like contact me, but contact you for what? Contact you for rates, for quotes, for a consultation. The more specific you can be, the more likely it is that the person is actually going to reach out and contact you. The best way to think about this, I think, is to think about it like road signs. You're guiding someone through the journey. They're on your website, which is like a lost road that they're on, and they don't really need to know where to go next. So you're going to want to put signposts. Turn here if you want, or your journey ends here. The more clear that you can be about this and the more signposts that you have, the better. So your action steps for this one is to scroll through your site. Also, let me know in the comments below if your site passed this test or not. And ask yourself, if someone were to land here on my blog or on this random page, would they know how to get in touch with me? Would they know how to reach out? Would they know what to do next? If not, then you definitely have a couple of adjustments to do. Now, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed after running through these checks, if you're just not sure if your copy is clear, if it's benefit driven, or even what it's supposed to do, then you're not alone. The fact of the matter is most people don't know how to self-audit their own messaging because they're just a little bit too close to it. And it can be really expensive to hire a professional copywriter. Not to mention, it's like you know your business best and you don't want to lose your voice. So there's a lot of hesitation there too. And that's oftentimes why websites can be so beautiful and put together, but then you end up hearing crickets and no clients and you don't know why. So if you are second guessing what to say, how to say it, or you just want someone to say, hey, this can be a little bit better, a little bit tighter, this is working, this is not, then I invite you to apply to one of my messaging makeover sessions. We come through the copy, we check out the headlines, we do it together. So it's not necessarily a done for you service, it is actually done with you. So you not only walk away with clear conversion focused copy and the reassurance that it was done right from a professional copywriter, but you also improve your own writing and editing skills and you can take that forward for writing your own copy. In this VIP Copy Edit Day, we refine your brand voice, we sharpen your messaging, we strengthen your call to actions, and really go through it with a fine-tooth comb. Most of all, we're ensuring that your copy and branding are working for you, not against you, so that your website is conversion ready. So if this sounds exactly like what you've been waiting for, then make sure you grab your spot in the description box below. I will have all the information linked there on the messaging makeover. Space is limited since this is a one-on-one done with you service. So make sure to grab your spot before they're all filled. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.